I'd leave too if I were you. Can I go with you? I'm Bill Tavell from Bern, Indiana, and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Jim.
Bill.
This is his anniversary month. It's the 11th, isn't it? I knew that because he told me not to forget it. So. But anyway, when I finally came back to Alcoholics Anonymous, there's only one person in this room who was here when I came back. And he'll celebrate his anniversary the 11th of this month. Which is a snide way for me to tell you that I had my last drink June 4th, 1973. And it's a miracle because I was in and out so many. Say, I want to congratulate the token takers. I think that's great. If I had a beginner's token in my pants pocket for every time I came back to Alcoholics Anonymous, I wouldn't have been able to stand up. There were that many. And I stayed straight maybe, as long as 2 weeks. And that took a maximum effort. I guess it's customary, well, I know it is, to share your experience, strengths, and hopes with each other. I'm not going to share my experiences. You've all heard me. I'm not going to tell how I was in the popcorn business. And I'm not going to tell how I sold Fanny Farmer candy. And I sold tension envelopes and every other damn thing sellable. No. I'm going to tell you how and why the biggest influence in my life in the time that I've been straight, what that was. And if you haven't got one, you better get one. Sponsorship. I've had 6 sponsors, 5 of them all at once. They seemed to think I needed them. But my first sponsor was Sidney Scott. Any of you remember Scotty's Beauty Beach? Gary does, and you do. And Richard, and you do. I know who the Lushes are here, see? He was my first sponsor. And I was 3 years sober when he died. However, he tried for 10 years to get me to quit drinking, and you can't give this stuff away if they don't want it. And I didn't want it. And I was a pallbearer at his funeral. Jack G. and I think he's still around, isn't he, Gary? He's a good friend of ours. He's a sign painter. He would admit to that making bacon sign on the gable end of that farmhouse out on 29 West. Haven't seen him in a long time. Scotty died, and I think some of you might know the second sponsor that I had. It was Sam Wagner. Bashful Sam. I told this in Union City one time that I thought my name was Sumbitch. Every time he said something to me, he'd say, "You Sumbitch, you." See, and then he'd tell it. Never was one to mince words. You know him. Most everybody in here knew him. Did you know him, Jimmy? Well, you were cheated. Because he was something else. And really, you might say he gave his life to AA. He was going to AA when he should have been home in bed. And he could hardly put one foot in front of another one. And you put your arms around him and you could feel every bone in his back. And that's the way he died, going to meetings. And who was next? Help me. I'm suffering from brain damage. You're not going to learn a damn thing tonight, I'll tell you, except don't drink, go to meetings, and read the big book, and pray, and get a sponsor. Can you hear me? Get a sponsor. Maybe it was Herbie Wertner, I'm not sure. He could have been the third one. Some of you knew him, didn't you? George, you did. You did? Shame on you. He ended up in a nursing home here in Coldwater, out by the hospital. And Tom Bebout and I went to see him one time in that nursing home, and he just begged us to take him out of there and take him home. And if you ever felt helpless and hopeless in your life, he told Bill Patton that he'd pay him to take him home. He died a hell of a death, but he died sober. And he helped me, and he helped Gary, and he helped you, didn't he? You being Larry, aren't you Larry? I thought so. And after that, I'm going to get this all mixed up. Tyson sneaked in there somewhere. I forgot him one time. Oh man, did I hear about that. Notice how well I've coordinated all this, how it's all put together so that it flows freely. I'm stalling for time because I'm lost. I've been lost most of my life. Where am I, Gary? He used to raise hell with me. Herb Klein. He was from New Knoxville. A gentleman farmer. How many have I been over? How many? Four? Klein 4 or 5?
5.
Well, then there's Tyson.
Bill Patton.
Oh, God. I'm glad he's not here.
He might, you don't mention, he might come back and get you. He might come back and haunt you.
Anyway, yeah, Bill Patton was one. He used to get so damn mad at me. He'd stomp up and down. And he never held anything back. Aubrey, he just wouldn't say it if he had a mouthful. He'd, oh, you'll be all right, or shake his head like this, or come up with one of my brilliant remarks. I've been known to do that, embarrass people, and get a little off color. After a bit, I'll tell you about Pinocchio. Look at Kathy shake her head and laugh louder than anybody in the house. Anyway, Bill Patton, he went to his great reward. We went back to his home group in Bucyrus, Ohio. And I heard him give a lead and met all those people that had to do with his sobriety. I heard a talk one time in Bucyrus where one man had 48 years in. Now this is some time ago. They had a dual lead. One man had 48 years and the second speaker had 46 years of sobriety, and the first one made a 12-step call on the second one. See, and that impressed me. That tells me that maybe there's a chance for me, because I'd failed so many times. I didn't fail, I never wanted it. I didn't like the word alcoholic. I just knew I wasn't one. Sunderhouse kept telling me I was, but I didn't, but you knew him too, didn't you? You betcha. And I finally had to admit it. with my fingers crossed. And why did I quit? Because of those, I didn't want to go to jail. I've been in jail before. I don't suppose anybody else in this room's ever been in jail. Just about 95% of you, that's all. It's not mandatory that you have served time in jail to be a member in good standing of Alcoholics Anonymous. But I'll tell you one thing, it'll sure as hell push you that direction. So I came to AA in 1973 for the 15th, 20th, 25th time. I don't know how. I don't recommend it. And I haven't had to go back since and go out and try it again. I finally came to believe that I couldn't handle booze. I had them working nights, though, in the distillery. I used to think that was funny, you know. I was in big trouble, and Francis Query liked my act, didn't he? He says, "Here's this check." Oh God, that's no good. It's got Bill's name on it. Put that over here in this file. George was kind enough to share that with me one time. I haven't told you anything that you don't already know. I think the people that are here tonight are the winners. You know, I don't see any losers in here. And when you're like me, and you're so consumed by your desire to drink, something has got to be done, or you're going to die. And I almost died. Fear of death, I stayed dry for fear of death for a year at least. I came that close to checking out, and didn't have any insurance and was in that Otis Hotel. And when I got out of there, and Sidney Scott took me back to the, now that I think of that, there weren't all these meetings around here then. There wasn't any meeting here in Coldwater. God knows they've needed it for years. But there wasn't any meeting. We used to go to St. Mary's, down the basement in what I call the dungeon, the Presbyterian Church. That's where I sobered up. Then there was a meeting in Sydney on Tuesday. Where'd we go on Wednesday? We rested.
Slide.
There wasn't any meeting in Salina then. Huh? Was there? Oh yeah, Doc Wallace was holding fort there. Yeah. Thursday we went to Greenville, the home of Gene Yount. Remember him? And a few others. Friday, where'd we go Friday? We rested.
Yeah.
Either that or we went to Fort Wayne. Saturday, where'd we go Saturday? Van Wert, yeah. See, it escapes me. What I'm driving at is these people that I've mentioned, they were at every meeting there was. They weren't too tired to go. They didn't have something else to do. They were at that meeting. And they were cleaned up. And if they were up here, I lost my tie. They had a tie on. And they had a white shirt and a coat. And it was a big thing. AA hasn't changed any, just the people have changed some. We used to be in a meeting an hour ahead of time. And the guy that wasn't there got his inventory taken. So we were always early. This is the way I sobered up. I remember when I met Gary down the basement. And he came over, he'd heard about me, I'm sure he had. I was a top. I never had to tell him where I was, all I had to do was read the paper. Yeah, I was in the newspaper. I haven't been in the paper since then. I don't miss that either. Now, everything hasn't been rosy. There have been reversals. But there hasn't been anything that a drink of whiskey or a snortle will cure. It'll just make it worse. Always worse, never better, never leveled off. It always got terrible. And when I was doing all this, beer was a quarter. Pabst Blue Ribbon was a quarter. And the Miller's High Life, and that was 30 cents. I have no idea how much it costs now, and I couldn't care less. But I couldn't get enough of it at one time. And I was on a first-name basis with the Salina Police Department. Kanapke and Bolenbacher and Jerry Sunderhouse and Bob Frame. Oh, I knew them all. And I'll tell you how strong AA is. I shouldn't tell you this because you may want to use it. But I scratched out a few bad papers one weekend, and I was in Upper Sandusky, and I was thirsty, and I didn't have any money. And I got two of these cashed, these checks cashed, $10 a piece. And the Wyandotte County Sheriff sent me a registered letter. My dear Bill. See, I used to drink with him back in the 40s when I was doing road construction out of Columbus. Please send me $20 and I'll take care of these checks for you. What do you suppose I did with that letter? There was a great big file over there in the corner, and I just sailed her in there and forgot it. And I got picked up, and they took me to jail. They had me locked in there. Then they got me back. Sidney Scott came and got me, and his wife. And I got this story all mixed up. I'll tell another one to get out of it. But anyway, I got out of that mess, and my dad had to come up with some money. Always had to come up with some money. Like Gary said, he loved me so much he damn near killed me, paying these fines and getting me out of jams. But anyway, I'm in jail another time, and he's all upset. He can't think straight, my father, and he calls Dave Myers. You've heard of Dave Myers, the attorney? Dave says, "Don't worry, Bob, I'll get him out. I'll go for him." So Dave comes over, and I never did get in the cell. I'm up in Bruce Barber's office. I'm a guest of the city. And Dave comes in and says, "Hey, Bruce, what are we going to do about getting Bill out of here?" "Well," he said, "I can't do anything. I got this warrant for his arrest, and I'm serving him." And Dave looks at me and says, "Bill, I can't help you. Have you ever been locked up before? And you'll please forgive me. I know you will." I said, "Well, they aren't getting any cherry. See, I've been in before." And about that time, there's a knock on the door, and in walks this Pierce Denman from Columbus. He's the guy that took me to my first AA meeting in Columbus back in 1957. And he says, "Good buddy, you're in a jam again, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, help me. You know how we bleat and cry and carry on, and I'll never do it again. And while they're getting you out, you're planning the next one." But anyway, he asked Bruce Barber if he knows a woman who is the secretary to the Buckeye Sheriff's Association. And this Bruce looks at him and he says, well, who are you anyway? Well, Pierce says, who the hell are you? He had the guts of a burglar. Had 14 years of sobriety then. And he told him who he was. You pick up that phone and you call Mary so-and-so and you ask her if she knows me. He sold her advertising specialties, matches and pads and pens and all that stuff. He knew them real well. And Bruce said, do you really know her? Why, hell yes, he said. Do you think I'd make this up? Will you guarantee Bill's appearance in court? This was for non-support, a little thing like that. You know, I wasn't taking care of my responsibilities. And will you make sure he shows up in court? Sure I will. Get out of here, Bill. AA got me out of that mess. And to show you how I appreciated that, I went out and I got drunk the first chance I got. And that's what it did. Always got drunk. And so if drinking's your problem, or drugs, or any other drugs, or take it from somebody who tried to beat it and couldn't do it. I never won. I lost every time. Now I said that things haven't always been rosy, but I haven't had to drink, and I'm not supposed to drink, and a drink will solve nothing for me. Maybe it will for you. But I'll guarantee you, if something in here bothers you, alcohol, and you leave, alcohol will bring you back. It always brought me back. And I fought, I didn't even fight a good fight, but I fought it for 16 years, and I lost every day of time. I divorced once in '58, divorced again. Ain't funny, Scott. Divorced again in '81. I'm in an 18-year swing. But there ain't going to be no more dancing. Not at my age. I had trouble getting up here. And I'm crippled in the head, but I don't limp because I don't walk on it. But anyway, I've had a good time in Alcoholics Anonymous. We go over to the Lima Correctional Institution. I told those birds I was framed, and they didn't believe me. And I'll bet you every one of them pulled the same thing. But if you've never been over there, you ought to go. That is really something. That's a touch with reality, isn't it, Leo? They have the loveliest sleeping quarters you've ever seen in your life. Those bunks are crawling around, you know, in those cells. But they're there to learn. I hope you people that got your tokens, I hope maybe like they told me, like Sid Scott told me, he said, when in the hell are you going to start to think? I was sitting, do you remember his place, and you do, it was a neighborhood bar out at Beauty Beach. And Roy Auric almost destroyed it, but I shouldn't have said that, but I did. And I'm sitting, I'm hanging on the bar, just hanging on. And I said, Scotty, I think I'm getting a hold of this now. I was barely upright, and he's sitting there just hoping, damn. Didn't want me to go to town because he knew I'd get in trouble, and he's aiding and abetting me and all that, and he's my enabler. And he said, do you really think so? He said, I think you're crazy. You're losing your mind. And I said, maybe you're right. But give me another beer and mark that down, will you? I never intended to pay him. I don't know how much money I owed him when he died. Plenty. and I'll just wind it up this way, how much that family liked me. When I finally put together 365 days of Bill's sobriety, she walked down that dungeon with a chocolate cake. Were you there? You weren't there. Hell, you were gleaming your old man's eye. But anyway, Gary, you were there. She come in with this chocolate cake and she said, "Do you know how long?" I had to make a speech. I didn't appreciate that. Where'd that dollar go? Oh, there it is. She said, "Do you know how long I've waited for this, Bill?" See, they used to bring the lunch at those meetings. When you were the chairman, you set the meeting up and you brought the lunch. And then when it was all over and there was about a half a cake left, damn, she didn't take it home. I didn't even get to take it home. We had a guy make us a coffee cake one time, too, and he got a little mixed up and he used salt instead of sugar. Well, it was the thought behind it, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. It was. He gave a lead one time down in Greenville that would make you cry. Just make you cry. But anyway, I wish you all a lot of luck, and good to see you, Red. If you try real hard, you can be just like me. Then you're through.
Thank you, Bill. Pass around for comment. George?
Yeah, my name's George. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, George.
And I'd like to thank you, Bill. You had a lot of good things to say.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Keep coming back. I enjoy seeing you. I'm Larry. I'm not Paul.
Hi, Larry.
I guess the first time I heard you, Bill.
What?
I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. I agree, you were probably framed up most of that stuff you were talking about up there tonight. But, you know, you did something right. Well, I mean, June of '73, you said, you know, the main thing you did was you stayed there and passed it on to the rest of us, you know. I'm glad guys like you were here when I got here. Thanks for being a fan.
I'm John, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, John.
Congratulations on the token takers, keep coming back. That was a good lead, Bill.
No, it wasn't.
It was good. I seen an old friend of yours today.
Who?
I seen Charlie Folks' wife, Arlene. She said hello.
Did she?
No.
Still. Change my tune about her.
But that was good messaging. I like it, Bill.
Arlene.
Arlene.
She married a minister, didn't she?
She straightened out. Anyways, Bill, that was a good message. Thanks for bringing back some of those names. We need to be reminded, you know, because they were here before.
Well, if you want to have a name, he may not have been a very attractive individual to look at, but I'll tell you one thing: he was a saint to me, and that's Paul Snyder. There wasn't an ugly bone in that man's body. He was something else, wasn't he, Gary?
Thanks, Bill.
So I'm Scott. I'm an alcoholic.
It's
Nice to see you, Bill. No, you've done a lot for me, and when you were up there talking about Otis Hospital, 1973, there was an article in the newspaper here not too many days ago about old Doc Otis almost closed that in 1936.
That's Lloyd.
Yeah, that was Dr. Jim's dad. And it was sort of funny when I was reading that article, I thought about that. You know, and all I thought about was wow, if that would have closed, Dr. Finkelmeyer wouldn't have had any place to put Bill and put him back on the street again. But, you know, you did give a good lead. You know, because I needed to hear some of the stuff you had to say tonight. And that's what I'm here for. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Scott.
My name's Tom, alcoholic. Thanks for your lead. That was, she said something about Herbie Workner, which brought back that I wonder if it's hereditary, my disease. But he used to date my grandmother. But I got to remember him. I hadn't thought about it in a while.
I don't think he corrupted her.
I got it somewhere. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here too.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Rick.
My name's Jim, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Jim.
I just enjoy hearing you every time. You make me laugh. I enjoy going to meetings with you up in Lima. I enjoy seeing you in Durham, Portland. I like coming over and visiting with you with Gary once in a while. I just enjoy you being my friend. I love you guys.
You just keep running around with the people you're running around with.
Name Will, John. Alcoholic addict. Thanks, Phil. Like everybody else said, good talk. I enjoy your being around you all the time. But, you know, you like to make people laugh, but I really enjoy you when you talk serious about the program. Because 25 years of sobriety, you got a hell of a lot to offer. And I really appreciate that knowledge. And, you know, if you read between the lines, there's so much there. I can't explain it all, but I really do appreciate getting around you. And thanks for being a friend and a sponsor.
Thanks, Will.
I'm Richard, I'm now part of the addict. I want to thank you for sharing tonight.
Thanks, Richard.
You're welcome.
I'm Kathy, an addict and alcoholic.
Kathy.
I'm not sure you're going to tell that joke up there about the milk.
No.
Oh, you did?
No.
I heard you many times. I always like to listen to you because you always have something humorous to say. And I remember some of those people you had talked about. I used to go over the Wednesday meeting and see a couple of them. That was about 8 years ago. I had to go back out and try it too, at least once or twice. Congratulations, the token taker.
I'm Jen, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Jen.
And I'm congratulations to token takers too. Keep coming back. And yeah, I've heard you a few times. Like the rest of you know, I always get a laugh out, so I'm going to laugh, but you do always put something serious in there too, which is really neat. I mean, if I'd come to hear you first, if I'd heard you the first time I came to an AA meeting, I'd probably never come back again. No, for the simple reason you had people laughing and stuff, and I didn't think you were supposed to laugh when you got here. You know, it's a serious, deadly disease, and why are we laughing? And I had a hard time with that at first, but it sure is fun now to be able to laugh together with you. Thank you. Love you.
Thanks, Ron.
And my name's still Ed. Bill. I like the part about you see and keep coming back all the time, and I've been in this thing 6 months, and sometimes I think I'm gonna be a lifetime 24-hour token taker myself.
Don't ever quit.
Got a lot of them, and that's right. That's why I'm slipping and sliding, but I ain't falling down. And I'm gonna keep coming back. That's all I got, sir.
Chuck,
Hi, Chuck.
I'd like to thank you for sharing. And feel like we have, I mean, you make me laugh all the time, but you also carry a message. Make those guys at the prison laugh. It wasn't as funny as the other day because you had to clean it up, so.
I wish you wouldn't say that.
Third son, Bill.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm Helen McCall.
Thanks, Helen.
I'd just like to thank you for sharing. I just like how when you talked about how you can get up and have to keep coming back and stuff, but because of you sharing that, gives me hope and it gives me hope, and just like to remind me to do this thing in the routine.
I'm Jim Shields, alcoholic.
All right, Jim.
I'd like to congratulate Joe and Red on their tokens. Keep coming back for their work. Everybody. Thanks a lot, Bill. I haven't seen you for a long time either, but it's always good to see you. It's always good to hear your message. We always get a kick out of you. I don't know why, because you make us laugh, and that's great. Laughter is great, because so many times we were so down in the dumps we couldn't laugh, But I know the serious side of you too, because you were here when I came in the program, and the suggestions you give me were always serious. You never laughed about anything, and neither did anybody else that gave me the suggestions to help me get sober. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. I'm Tim, an alcoholic.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you a couple times before, Bill, and I really like the message what you have to say all the time. You were right about one thing. Being locked up in the county jail is a good persuader to get to come here. I found out the hard way. And with that, I'd like to thank you and say thanks.
I'm sorry, I'm not alcoholic. I just want to thank you, Joe.
Gary, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Gary.
This is, I think the second time I've heard you lead, and you make me laugh, and that means a whole lot. Appreciate you lead. It's nice to see you. Congratulations on all the token takers. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
I'm John, alcoholic.
Hi, John.
Thank you. Good speaking.
Thanks, John.
I'm Joe.
Joe.
I don't think I'm really an alcoholic because I don't drink. You're a funny guy. I do that. You are serious. I can tell that. And you are helping our people. That's good. Keep it up. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Any other comments? Well, Bill, that was a good lead. I've heard you several times, So I can almost give your lead. But the point is, like you say, you've always been there. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. I don't know. I remember when you first walked in that meeting in St. Mary's, you wasn't laughing at that time. There was no laughing.
I hated everybody in there.
Right, yes. That's where we come from. That's where we come from. You know what I'm saying? When I give lead, I give a serious talk about lead because I know it took me. You know what I'm saying? You brought the humor in this. You can't have fun in being sick. Because we don't forget where we came from. Because if we forget where we came from, we're going back. Some of those guys you talked about. Paul Snyder, he was a good man. He brought up stuff about, when people kept these meetings open, and they just didn't close the meeting just because they didn't have time to keep it going, you know what I'm saying? And it was very important for me because the hand was out. And that's the responsibility of being in this program, And Don Winning was another guy, gave one of the best leads I've ever heard in my life.
He never quit trying, did he?
He tried. The hand that he was there. And I can relate to this young man, Joe. He keep coming back. I know the guy belonged to me. Because we try to compare our leads, we're supposed to be late. That's what alcohol does to us when we drink. We don't think 35 years to be here. You just keep on coming back. And if you're honest with yourself, if alcohol is your problem, you'll know it. Well, Bill, I want to thank you for going through all that effort getting over here from Bern. Any other comments?
Hey, I gave the first lead at this meeting,
Yeah, you did.
and it survived.
That's good.
And you did the first one, the rest was Sally.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
All right. In closing, let me remind you and me that although no individual has a right to be wrong with facts, every individual has a right to his own opinions. Please remember that the opinions expressed here tonight are strictly those of the individual. Remember also that anonymity is a spiritual foundation of the AA traditions. The things you have heard and the things that have been shared with you are spoken and shared in confidence. Let them be treated as confidential. If you have listened with an open mind, if you try to absorb what you have heard and seen, you're bound to gain a better understanding of yourself, of your problem, another way to better handle that problem. Talk to each other, reason with each other, but let there be no gossip and no criticism of another. Instead, let there be love, acceptance, understanding, and companionship. We please stand and join. Bill?
Who helps us stay sober?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.
He got the lasagna.
Who will?
You got that $11 lasagna. I got that $6.75 horse cock sandwich. God, it was terrible. I sent it back. I did. I said, I'll pay for it, but get it out of here. I'm afraid it'll crawl off the plate. Boy, did I tell my brother what I thought of that place. What was the name of it? One of those Italian places in Columbus.
You know that place?
Yeah, but I don't remember if I liked it or not. If I liked it.
We ate your lasagna. You paid enough for it, $11.50.
I would have ate it if I didn't like it.
Boiled noodles with cheese.
I don't remember.
It wasn't very good. Gary had the $10 spaghetti dinner. He didn't eat his. The only guy that didn't go for it was Bebout.
You didn't buy nothing, did you?
He said, give me a Pepsi and I'll drink it out of the bottle. Yes, sir, boy. I've been in bars where you better do that. Yeah. The yellow bar down on South Park. Good Lord, that man in there walked around like a gorilla. He swung his arms like that. Giving us 3 beers and never mind the glasses. We're leaving.
We should stop at a little place on this,
You know anything about Columbus? You do.
on this side of Sydney.
Yeah.
Had tenderloins, and they were about that big around, and they had buns that was about like that.
big old slice of onion and mustard on it.
Reeves.
Buy
I
a
know where that
beer
is.
and
Yeah, we
head
used
toward
to,
the
they
side.
always wanted to go there to my in-laws and stuff.
They had good sandwiches though.
Sandwich is always better than a beer
Real
was,
good.
but I wasn't a beer drinker.
Where at?
Reeves.
Winchester? Oh, Reeves, I thought you said Reeves.
No.
Scott.
Oh, Scott.
R-E-I-D-S.
How's it going?
Good, how about you?
All right. Good to see you.
Well, I used to get drunk down on the park. But I don't have.
Hi, Scott.
Then
Good to see you.
take a drink, I had to drink, I had to get drunk. Couldn't quit.
Scott. Good day, sir.
Hi, sweetie.
I'm taking him to join now, I'm going home.
Uh-huh.
Hello, darling. Hi, dear.
Oh, you got cold hands.
Yes, I do. Got a warm heart. That's
Oh, God. I put boots on.
Yes, Bill.
What'd he say?
He's got a warm- I said, you have cold hands. He said, yes, but I've got a warm heart. Just ask you.
Yeah, just watch out though, it'll turn to brass once in a while. What do you think, Leo?
I don't know.
I'll never forget when we went to his daughter's graduation.
They said he was in there and asked me if they wanted to do it.
He said, you haven't got enough here. And they didn't.
They didn't either, they went and got more.
All I ate was 2 pieces of ham.
Oh, yeah. Quite a feast there.
Yeah, they had a lot of food.
I'll just be taking a lot of hot and cold and smoke a lot.
No, I'm fighting
It's like not worth it.
Me and Mom was talking about that Tuesday.
Oh.
What?
Oh,
In fact, I don't even have order to, and I thought mine was right.
I said, yeah, Tuesday.
So I think that was all fast.
What do we thought you did here, back home?
Explain, I had to
And
explain.
then we're gonna start on Gary's watch.
Well,
His
you
watch
missed.
is-
That's what I was telling her.
Oh, you
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm missing him now.
We was eating supper.
You got
for-
enough time. She's waiting for somebody to win.
And Johanna.
I'm not supposed to hold one, but I'm gonna smoke.
I like your shirt.
That's where she wanted to go.
Huh? I like your shirt, that's beautiful.
What, my shirt, what's about my shirt? The dog's on the back.
Huh?
You mean the dog's on the shirt?
Yeah, boy. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I got two of them, on the front. Two blue and one.
We got a scarf.
My mother took that great big basket of food. Basket of fruit, and I said, well, that's really rich. She was gonna leave that basket.
Who?
Your mother.
Oh, I was in the hospital that day?
Yeah. And I said, go on, take it. You know, it was Aubrey and Herbie and me and Jill. And you got the good news. And it was good news. Believe me, anything pertaining to that is good news. Hadn't had a cigarette since. Same way you quit drinking. Walking around.
I'm not smoking no. Scott, you still smoke? Yeah. For about a week and a half. Another week and a half?
Week.
At the most.
I got a week.
What, you gonna quit?
I have to,
All right.
yeah.
So
Good
am I.
luck. You'll gain more weight, honey.
No, can't do that either.
I bet you do.
I bet I don't. They're gonna put me on stuff and make me.
They're gonna stitch your stomach closed.
No, they're.
They do that to me in the most.
I've seen people do that, wire their mouth shut so that they
Somebody
wouldn't
stitched
gain any
me.
weight.
They've
Put
got
everything
the
in
big
swamp.
plans for me. They're gonna take all the
Suck up
protein and
pizza.
everything
That's
else
what
away and
Howard
give me
said,
enough
I
food
can't
just to keep me
remember who
alive.
started that.
What, they gonna operate on you?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, the 19th.
What, they
Is
got
that the
that
one
balloon
from
in it?
Decatur? Yeah.
What they gonna do?
It's
Operate
got,
on it.
it's
I
a
like this one,
fibrous
yeah.
pad.
He said.
Wow.
They're gonna sew that to the
Another
bone
girl
and
who reached puberty when he's
hope that everything works right.
If it works right.
Where at?
I debated whether I should
Cincinnati.
tell that at the library.
Cincinnati.
I decided, I told it at the laundromat.
We'll send you a card and let us know what day.
Those are meetings? No, well, no, where I do my laundry. I've sold them a lot, so.
Went to
Did you bring any?
Blue Rash or
Not what
something.
you
to see
want,
a
what did
doctor
you
there.
want, honey?
Some of that Labor 2000.
I
Dr.
got some of
Noyes
that.
is,
Got any close
Cincinnati Sports
Any what?
Medicine's
Close
got
up?
9 offices.
No, I'll
In
have
the
it next
Cincinnati
week.
area, they operated all the hospitals and
That stuff's heavy.
it's,
Probably too heavy.
Cincinnati Sports Medicine
No,
is
it's too
separate,
heavy for me.
has a specific doctor for.
Oh, I didn't know.
Doctor told me not to lift
Dr.
anything
Noyes
heavy.
is the world-renowned knee
See?
surgeon. And they've got Dr.
I just figured you may be too much weight in your trunk.
No, I had it full today, didn't I?
Lingenstoller or something like
You
that.
guys together today, was it?
No,
the
Jeff bought
back
5 cases.
And they do fellowships, in fact, they're a training facility.
Dove and
They
Lever
bring in,
2000.
they bring in
Water
orthopedic
source. Is that
surgeons
what you
to
want?
go into a
What,
specialty.
Lever
and they
2000
go
water
through their
source?
fellowship
You want
in
those
Cincinnati.
gallon jugs? Well, I got some of those with me.
We can wait
So
till
you have
next
to go
Thursday.
back
I'll
there
probably
to
go.
the doctor all
I'll
the
probably
time.
go. I was gonna go to Portland yesterday, but
Well,
something come up.
he's the only one in this part of the country that does this type of stuff.
What you gonna do, Scott?
I've got to have the last surgery done on my knee.
Oh, they have to go again, it's over.
I got beat, one of beat gas bottles,
I can't control
sits
it.
on a tank tilt.
What are you talking about?
It's
He
age,
said he's gonna get glass bottles from him or whatever.
just the thought of it.
I got one of them old bottles.
It's not so bad in the
I got some
summertime, it dries,
thing,
it's gentle
metal
breeze.
thing,
In
still.
the wintertime, it freezes.
They made me feel
It's
real
empty
good.
right now, but I don't know what was
They
in
made
it.
me feel real good
I had a
yesterday.
cork on top.
They
What's the
called me
matter?
up and told me to make sure that I had a.
I think it was like a wine
I
bottle.
had a will written up and a living will, so that they had copies of everything down there.
Passed off.
I always do that.
I know that, they asked me the last time I told
Where?
them no, and that they asked me when I was getting ready for surgery.
While you're getting ready.
Passed out on the rock,
Cinder.
Okay.
on a rock, sat on a rock and passed out.
Gentlemen, you too, Tom.
You did, Joe.
Jesus
Christ.
Hi, George.
Hi, George.
Never heard of that.
Hi, George.
And I could just see the guy going to get up. Well, I'm here for the winter.
George,
More there.
good, good, good.
I mean, I gotta get loose.
Bob Rich was leading me, and we were having this.
Save the best for last.
How's your good health? You don't
Healthy.
let it-
We missed what we're laughing
You
at.
I
call
look at you
911
now.
for that one.
You've lost weight.
And say,
haven't
excuse me, but my bag's
You ever
stuck.
mentioned it, Bill?
That'd be like
They say, what bag?
you? Good.
Yeah.
We
Well,
had
let's
a
not
bicycle
explain
and
that.
dynamite man and commercials.
That'd be like that, something
We went
about
out
Mary.
and got
No, I ain't.
I was
You
freezing
seen
that.
that show or not?
I saw
And-
Tammy today.
They just bag for
No.
How's she doing? I haven't.
The
Oh,
best part of the
Oh!
show
They avoid
was
me.
when she comes up to the door and says, oh, is that moose?
Oh, that's they say, what is wrong?
Yeah.
And everything
The
goes
movie
around.
was so funny.
Hi, Larry.
We
Oh,
kept trying to do stuff with that dog.
reminds me of, what's that movie, A Christmas Story?
Yeah, we already,
Where the little kid gets his tongue stuck
Oh,
in.
That's outside.
Don't look like I do.
Oh,
How are you? That's supposed to start my
Just about. Well, I was here last week.
got Christmas party.
what place?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, we were here.
Well, that's too bad. I hate to hear that.
Hey.
What's up, Ed?
Where's that? Hey, George.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Gary. Hi. Ed. Good. I'm good. Hey. Hey, how you doing? Oh, shoot.
You think, George? I give that up. Yeah, gets me in trouble all the time. I haven't drinking. Make no money on me.
What?
Hollister's. I think there's got a tendency to do that.
Eat the seafood smell, you didn't have time, because when I get in seafood,
Well, I have been
I'm telling you, yeah. Boy, a couple prizes too big.
Stop looking at me like that.
Fill 'em up, right?
I wonder, I think you looked at how it's set up.
Oh, I didn't. Well, it don't matter, there's chairs over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Young boy. Here, John. Thanks.
Most of them do.
Pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
Especially ex-wives.
Got one, that's all I want.
Hi. Hi. I'm Bill. Bill. I'm Ed. You? Ed. Ed, all right. In 5 minutes, I'll have you. Okay? Your name will probably still be Bill.
He's been called different things.
You didn't call it other names.
You know, I
See your mom.
That's naughty, because I can tell you.
It wasn't funny.
Face is scarlet.
Seen your mom Tuesday. Afternoon. I took
I
mine.
thought about you the other day, Bill.
What?
I thought about you the other day.
What about?
Put a smile on my face. I was driving down 127 and I just happened to look there, and I walked back and laid down the creek and looked up there at the old pilings on the side and I thought, something about Coldwater Creek Landing.
That almost did me in.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what it did. I remember your family.
Yeah.
Did him in.
Oh, yeah, man.
Big day.
Yeah. He went from vice president to sergeant major. Potter's Row.
I'll tell you the lowest.
Year and a half.
The lowest I saw him was the day that he
Hey, do
came
we
in
leave Brown
and
fans
begged
in
me
here?
to let him shovel the sidewalk. and he can have something to eat.
We don't leave Brown fans. Yeah, you heard me.
Well, I got a brown pen on two other brown things.
I got one over here.
Sore.
Of course, that's not
Yeah, started Tuesday. Something different. Something healthier.
Well, you're not walking now.
Well, I wanna make sure you get there on time. I know.
Come around there, bad boy.
You don't want to shake, you don't want to shake the gym much.
Hey,
Why, Jim?
tomorrow. I'm careful with walk. I ain't giving you mouth to mouth.
It's hell when you have to kick the head up 2 or 3 flight steps.
Well, they put it back on the was.
I can relate. The toilet. Real good.
That's all.
There's Jim. Didn't say hi to him, dude.
Instead of letting me know.
Jim, I got it.
We know he had so much medication. Then he cut back and then it was hard when he got to work.
Then he wanted to stop, that's that.
Hi, Danny.
Just let him mind, they leave it alone.
It wasn't a physician cut back.
Yeah, I told him to go see the doctor. He didn't know what to do.
You do well, honey, you can do it every week. You did a good job.
Next time.
Hey, the time you got for.
Gary, you say you still want one of them stickers? Yeah, we went around looking in Columbus and couldn't find. Well, I just got this in the mail today. The order about 6 of them. 6 red ones. Easy does it. Yeah. I got all kinds of stuff. You guys
You guys want to send Carl?
Doing it?
No, we can't do nothing until our speaker gets here.
Hi, spell it. I mean, can't wait.
Where you go to the corner?
Yeah, he's in the turtle.
Everything up, babe? Now we gotta hold up our speaker.
Where's he at, Gary?
Now where is it? Oh, there he is.
Who's that? Who's that guy?
And what do you think of
Or 3 inches by 12.
These for stickers?
Yeah. There's a new car sign.
Yeah, that'd be the ones that Jerry had on his.
Oh, I'll do that.
That's good, because my cross pen got messed up.
I'm Gary, I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to welcome everyone to the COAR Friday Night Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and to help others recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for any membership. We are self-supporting through no contributions. It is not allowed to sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. I've asked Chuck to read how it works.
Chuck, an alcoholic.
Chuck.
How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed their path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there's one who has all power. That one is God, and may you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. One, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood it. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made a direct amends to such people wherever possible, except we to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaim, "What in order? I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The point is to set down the guide for progress. Knowing spiritual progress rather than spiritual change. Our description of the alcoholics, chapter 3, Gnostic, and our personal adventure before and after, make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably none human power could have relieved our alcoholism. C, that God could and would if He were sought.
Thanks, Chuck. I've asked Tom to read the promises.
My name's Tom, and alcoholic.
Hi, Tom.
These are A's promises. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we'd right them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter. And there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases, but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. As God's children, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we'll be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know new freedom and new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience will benefit others. Our feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us, and we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
Hey, Tom. That's my friend Kelly read the 12 traditions.
Hi everybody, my name is Kelly. I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. The 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2, for our group purpose there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as He may express Himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6, an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. And 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly. I asked my friend Jim to read the thought for the day.
My name's Jim, and I'm alcoholic.
Yeah.
Thought for the day. When temptation comes, as it does sometimes to all of us, I will say to myself, no, my whole life depends on not taking that drink, and nothing in the world can make me do it. Besides, I have promised that higher power that I wouldn't do it. I know that God doesn't want me to drink, and I won't break my promise to God. I've given up my right to drink, and it's not my decision any longer. Have I made the choice once and for all, so that there's no going back on it. Meditation for today. In silence comes God's meaning to the heart. I cannot judge when it enters the heart. I can only judge by results. God's word is spoken to the secret places of my heart, and in some hour of temptation I find that word and realize its value for the first time. When I need it, I find it there. Thy Father who seek in secret shall reward thee openly. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may see God's meaning in my life. I pray that I may gladly accept what God has to teach me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
I've asked Larry to give out tokens.
Hi, everybody, I'm Larry, and I'm an alcoholic. Coldwater does have a token group. We give out tokens to Mark Trade to continue sobriety. The way we start that is with a 1 day at a time token. Is there anybody here for their first meeting or first meeting since their last drink that would like a token? Anybody else? 1 month? All right. What's your first name? Okay, everybody with 1 month. 3 months. 6 months. 9 months. 1 year. And a year thereafter. We'll know that today.
Thanks, Larry. Are there announcements off the floor? The only announcement I have is that Moon City Group in Wapak, Canada, will be celebrating their 24th year event, continuous on January 29th. The meeting starts at 7, eat at 8, or eat 7, and I think eat at 7:30, and the leads at 8 o'clock. So that's January 29th. Any other announcements?
I'm general alcoholic. We got a
Yeah.
good conscience next week. It's Friday night.
Any other announcements? This is my anniversary month, so I've always asked people that's been instrumental in my sobriety, and the guy's been a lot of instrumental in my sobriety. My friend Bill, he's a friend of all of us that knows him, and I've heard him many, many times, but every time I listen to him, I hear something new. And so without further ado, I'll give you Bill T. from Boone, Indiana.